Grabbed a couple redwood boards, drove those nails and carved your name.
All right, enough of me jabbering. Let's hear another song. Olivia Wolf here in Studio B. Which song this time?
This one's called Meet You at the Cross. Meet you at the cross on a hill up high, higher than I get in the morning light. Another day you ain't by my side. Crazy how the weight of the mountain makes me climb, and I couldn't take it anymore. Grabbed a couple redwood boards, drove those nails and carved your name. We said a prayer and sang a song. Forever wasn't quite that long, and I still don't know who to blame. I'll meet you at the dusk where the veil is thin, and beg St. Peter to let me in. And you and I both know I can't stay. Take heaven for a minute anyway. And I couldn't take it anymore. Grabbed a couple redwood boards, drove those nails and carved your name. And we said a prayer and sang a song. Forever wasn't quite that long, and I still don't know who to blame. Baby, you tell me who I should blame. I'll meet you at the cross and you'll take my hand. Honey, we'll walk through the trees to the promised land. Honey, we'll walk through the trees to the promised land.
Olivia Wolf here in Studio B. I find myself standing here getting lost in your lyrics and phrasing, and it's, that's some strong right there.
Thank you.
That is very strong. I understand that some of your, maybe therapeutic your songwriting is. You as many folks, but certainly what I read about you, and I'm not going to, gone through some loss and hardship that has inspired you a lot in your song. Is it therapy to write the songs?
Absolutely. It's therapy to write them. It's therapy to go out and sing them. And then it's the really extra good therapy that it can connect with other souls in this world. Because, when you go through something real hard, sometimes you feel like you might be the only one. But you realize, as I did, I was walking through the woods feeling so lonely one day, just this little sad girl in the woods going, woe is me, and I put on Tyler Childers' Play Me a Hank song, and I was like, I'm not alone.
No.
And I put on Coulter Wall, Caroline, I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Sturgill Simpson, his song, Hero,
Yeah.
We've all got it in us, so get out of your sorrowful little self and go find a friend, because I promise there is one.
Right. But sometimes when when you listen to a song like that and you really pay attention and everything, I'm a broadcaster. I'm trained to, to be kind of like a Vulcan about, all of the emotion in the songs. You don't break down on the air or anything like that. But that one took me to the verge. So, anyway,
Yeah.
I grabbed a quote off your website that I thought was pretty cool in relation to your album. It said that the album explores your own experiences with grief, portraying the bittersweet nature of memory and the longing for connection with those who have passed on to the next life. I thought that was very poignant and fitting. Certainly the album fulfills that description,
Absolutely.
When did you start writing songs in your life?
Well, the first songs I wrote was with my cousin when I was a kid. We wrote some very stupid songs. And then really in my early 20s was when I had the first song that I wrote by myself called One Bright Sunny Lonely Day. And it's hidden in one of my notebooks, never to be seen again, and I'll probably never play it out. But it was the first thing. I was, taking a shower, and I was like, oh, I got this line. I got to write that down. And then when I moved to Nashville in 2018 was when I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm an artist. I love to do photography. I think there's art in every walk of life. Even how you drive a car.
Sure.
Can be artful. Conversation's artful. But I was like, I'm going to focus on songwriting. Kind of, that's what I have to do. It almost, it's a choice, but almost not,
Well, I almost hate to ask this, but it could be amusing. What do you, thinking back on your early writing, and what would you consider the dumbest song you ever wrote? And can you give us a little snippet of it? I'm saying this because I wrote some dumb stuff when I was young.
For sure. Well, this one's about to really show something. Rubber Duckies from Mars.
Okay.
Yep. And we used to have, I used to do a little bit of ski racing, and we had a coach. Her name was Janet, so we made up a song called Janet Claus instead of Santa Claus. Here comes Janet Claus, here comes Santa
Oh, my
Claus.
goodness.
So they were pretty dumb.
I'm always interested in how, the songwriters started and how young they started. Amazing how young some of the singer-songwriters started writing.
Yeah.
And
Nothing then was good quality, but it was there.
Yeah. I started writing when I was 6, but I'm not going to share any of that with you. Yeah.
For sure.
But, it's still something to be proud of. It's where you grow.
For sure, and it just is a testament to being a person who's got an antenna up and is watching things and then wants to express that out in the way that they see it.
It's, for some, I think, don't you agree that it's the only way they can really, work through stuff or,
Absolutely.
for lack of a better word.
For sure. Music is like the ultimate healer, I believe, of all healers, and it's something especially, I worked with this fabulous guy, Colin Linden, for about a year and a half, and I was having some really days that were not easy, and it was like, what am I doing, and all this stuff, and I'd go in his studio, and he'd play electric guitar. I'd just sit on his couch and close my eyes, and I was like, I'm free for right now,
Yeah. You see videos of, people playing a guitar or playing a banjo or whatever, and animals just coming up and even wild animals, coming up and just standing there listening. To me, it's amazing. It's certainly a communication. It's I'm not sure how to say it. That's
For
my
sure.
job, but but it has a connection, I think, with all beings somehow.
And even, Sam showed us a video of his little nephew. He was playing guitar for his little nephew. He's 2 years old and he's dancing.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Babies love music, which is how it's inherently in the human soul.
Yeah.
you know.
And they like more than Baby Shark. They like actually other things, you know. And you know, I don't know if it's the mathematics of the music, or just the sound of the strings, or you know, the chords or whatever. I don't know. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, and I was going to say, I always want to encourage people. Do music in your living room. Do music in your house. Music is not about getting famous and doing something. It's about your own personal connection with it. And you should write. It doesn't matter if anyone ever hears it. You should play. It doesn't matter if anyone ever hears it. Just, it's for you and yourself, and that's all it ever has to be.
And if somebody does hear it, it could be a help to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
And I think anyone brave enough to go out and do music, even if I may have a different genre idea of what I'm into, anyone brave enough to do music, I have a lot of respect for, because it takes a lot of heart to do that.
Well, I think with your back, you're taking a lot from the different, I hate to pigeonhole, but, you know, from the different genres, if you will, of the music you've experienced growing up. You know, you're taking a lot of the good out of different things to compose your songs. And it's probably not an intentional thing for you. It's just how it comes out, right? I mean, you pull from what's inside.
For sure, and especially, you know, as a kid driving in the back of the car with my parents, you know, my mom loved Tom Waits. My dad loved Lucinda Williams. So we got to listen to a lot of really good music from a young age. And then, you know, when I came to Nashville, I kept trying to have somebody else give me my sound. And I was like, you know what? I just need to sit on my porch, play and play and play. And I remember someone telling me, you know, this one girl, she moved here, it took her about 4 years to find her sound. And I said, good, I've got 4 more years. I got to work then. And it gave me a chance to not, is this going to be a hit? You know, you get into that town and everyone's, are we going to write a hit? It's like, just write your soul. And if it's a hit, great. If it's not, you still wrote something for your soul. Like, to me, every day I got to write each one of these songs, that was the magic that I got to live, you know?
And you feel like you found your sound on this record, right? That's good. That is good for a debut record, certainly.
For sure.
Silver Rounds, Olivia Wolf's debut album. Know it, you know, and live it. Or
exactly.
listen to it.